Alright, so let's continue. So now we will be working on the side panel for the cart that we have over here. But before we do that, there are actually two things which we can improve / fix. So let's do that first. So firstly, the book title which is being displayed over here, we have to take care of the length of it, as in if the title is too lengthy, then there is a chance that it may break the layout. And if I do something like this, like suppose it's a big, like it's a lengthy title, then it may break the layout. And well, actually it's not that bad. Well, yeah, it is bad. I just noticed that it's overlapping. So we need to fix this, obviously. So for that, the typography component, the one that we are using for the name, one second, let's head back. So within the book item component, where we have the book name, there it is. What we can do is, there is a prop called no wrap, which makes sure that the text doesn't go to the next line. But even this does not fix up our issue. So what instead we can do is, well, actually it should fix up the issue, I'm pretty sure of. Let's check the API, and there we have the no wrap. So if it is true, then the text will not wrap, which is what it is. That's good. But instead we'll truncate ellipsis, block or inline. Okay. Alright, so the thing is that the typography has to be within a component which has the display of either block or inline block, but at the moment it is inside of stack which has the display of flex. So in order to fix this, we can actually use the box component from the MUI library, and let's do that as such. And if we save it, box is, what's up with this? Not from here. Let's actually first import the box, and now where we have the, oops, over here, let's add the box. I'm sorry, actually I'm having a bit trouble with the keyboard because this mic is in between, but I'll fix that later. Now if we save it and if we take a look, it's still the same. So I guess we have to provide some sort of constraint on the width so that it doesn't take the entire space. And for that, on the box component, we can pass down like maximum width of about 240. Let's go with that. And I guess that's looking a bit better. Obviously better than what it was before. Alright, so that completes the first thing. Now the other one is that I've been thinking about an effect for the book item, for which what we can do is, when the user hovers their cursor on the book item, we can kind of transition this book cover a little upward, so it will look a bit nice. So let's do that. And what we have to do, we have to add the CSS styling on the book item. So within the book item, there are two stacks, left one and right one, but we want to add the effect on the main stack component, so that when they move their cursor over here, not on the book cover but anywhere in the book item, then we transition it a little bit upside. So for that, now on the stack component right over here, we can use the SX, and let's use the hover effect as such. So now we need to target the image, the book cover, which is right. Okay, so it's not an image, obviously. It's a stack component which is like a div element of display flex, and we are using it for the image, where we are using the CSS background property for adding the image. So for that, because we want to add the effect on the main stack and target this one, let's actually give it a class name, a CSS class name, of book cover as such. And now over here, when the user is moving the cursor on the book item, then we are targeting the book cover element, and we just need to, well, we already have the top of -30. So in order to lower it down, we have to lower it down, not like pushing it further. So for that, we can decrease the value of the negative to be of -20. So if we do that, and if I move my cursor, well, that's let's first add transition to actually see. So for that, right over here within the SX of the stack with the background image, let's add transition of -3 seconds as such. And if we do that, well, that's looking a bit better. How about if we increase the minus to be of more upward? I think that looks more cleaner. What do you think? Let's do one thing. Let's actually make it -25 by default so that it's a bit lower. And I guess that looks great. How about that? Again, you feel free to do it. Feel free to change it as per your kind of in any way that you prefer. So now let's actually jump onto the cart panel. So for that, the design looks like this, right? So for this component, now the thing is that this component will slide in. We want it to slide in from the right side when the user clicks on the cart icon that we have over here. Oh, what's up with that? Oh, let's fix that thing first. Why is it stretching in an odd way? So over here we have the icon, we have the stack. Okay, so by default the align items has the value of stretch. So let's fix this thing to be off center, and now that's much better. Alright, so now let's work on the side panel, for which we will be using another component from the MUI library called drawer. So this component allows us to slide in a panel from any side of the screen. So in our case it will be right, and it will look something like this. So let's do that. Let's head back and let's close everything. Now within the for this, I guess let's create another folder with the name of cart, and over here let's create an index.js. Let's create the component of the name, like by the name of cart, and now let's create it. So we will be using the drawer component, and within this let's place in a stack component which will contain the internal content of this panel. So starting with the very first one, if we have a look, we got a cart. There it is. So for that, let's add typography, and I just noticed the stack should, let's import it from material, and the variant of it can be h3 of cart. So let's do that, and now let's import the drawer component. Let's actually name it as, let's keep it as cart, doesn't matter. So let's go to the home page, and right over here we can place the cart component that we have just created. Make sure to import the right one. Do not accidentally import the icon of cart from the icons library. So now if we save it and if we head back, we won't see the drawer anyway, the cart that we just added, because there is a reason. The drawer component, the one that we are using, there are three types of drawer. The one that we will be using is temporary, which is actually the default one. So we don't have to explicitly explicitly pass in the prop of variant equals to drawer, which we can if we check the API. Sorry about that. So as you can see, there are three types of drawer. The one which we need is temporary, and it is the same by default. But in order to open the drawer, because right now we are creating it, so we don't want to keep on clicking on a button to open it each and every time we make a new change. So for that, on the drawer component, we can pass down a prop of open, and it will open the prop. So by default, it gets opened from the left side, and as we want it to be opened from the right side, we will be passing in the anchor prop and specify the direction, which in this case would be right. And there it is, beautiful. So now on the stack component, let's add some padding around the edges of about 4, and let's also increase the variant to be of H5. I guess that would work, and let's actually give some minimum width of about, let's actually give it a width of about 240, and I guess that let's increase it to be of 280, and I think that looks much better. All right, so let's stick with that. Or should we increase it? Let's go with 320. Sorry about that. Again, live coding, that's what it is. Alright, so we have the cart, and now we just need to place the elements right over here, the items which are added to the cart. So for the time being, what we can do is, let's just create the component, and then we will do the same thing, which will come later once we implement the entire state for the cart thing. So now let's just build this component which looks like it, which looks like this. So for that, let's head back, and now let's get to the cart. So over here, we're going to create a new component by the name of cart item, and this component would be the books which are added to the cart. So let's do that. Now for the layout, we will be wrapping the entire thing inside of a stack component, and because the layout of it is something like this, as in like a row element, let's set the direction to be of row, and within this we need to place the image. So for the image, never mind. So for the image, what we need to do, let's actually see the book item because I believe we can. Okay, so we can make use of the same properties which we have over here, and it also means, like, instead of copying the same thing over and over again, but the thing is that this one will have the top left kind of thing, and we don't want that. So let's do one thing, let's make this thing reusable. All right, so that we don't have to we can keep the code as dry as possible. So for it, let's first add the properties like over here instead of passing them by like as props. So over here, let's set the width of 85, the same thing with the height of 125, and the border radius of 2, and I guess that would be it. And we can just remove all these things from here. If we save it, we shouldn't see any difference on the book covers, and that's good. So now what we can do is so this part is reusable, right? So let's first get to the theme, and over here there is actually a theme configuration variable which goes by the name of mixins. So the mixins, let's actually check the documentation. It's been a while that I used mixins. Default theme. Over here we got the mixins, and there it is. Alright, so for this mixins, it's basically the reusable styling that we can make use of. So this mixins, let's create another one right over here, which will go by the name of book cover as such. And for the styling, we can copy the same things, like the same stylings as what we have over here. Except the background one, because that would come at the time of using the component. So let's remove that, and let's remove all of this for the time being, and let's save it, and let's save this thing as well. And for the time being, before we preview how it's looking, let me just comment out the home page, like sorry, the cart that we added, this thing. Let me just comment this thing out, because it's probably gonna look bad. Okay. The fun fact is it's not looking like the image is not even there. So what's up with that? So on the book item, we are adding the background image, but it's not visible. So what we can do is, like right now, let's cut this thing out, and instead of passing an object right away to the SX prop, we will be passing in a function called theme. And this theme is the one that we are currently working with. So we can return back, like we do have to return back an object regardless. So if I save it, we will have the same thing. But now that we have the access to the theme, we can make use of this mixin. Beautiful. So let's do that. So we have theme dot mixins dot and the book cover as such. And because it's an object, we can spread it out in such a way. So if we take a look, there it is, and that is beautiful. That's kind of like making full use of the features which are available in the theme, sorry, in the provided by the MUI library. Alright, so let's continue, and now let's continue with the cart thing. Head back to the theme, sorry, the home page. Let's uncomment the cart so that we have it over here. Perfect. So now what we need to do over here, we can place the stack component. Let's go with stack, and sorry about that, I kind of have a very dry throat today, so sorry about that. So we will be passing in the SX again. Oops, not like this. So this is the image, the book cover. So the theme, returning back an object where we spread out theme dot mixins dot book cover in such a way, and the background where we are using the book cover image as the background. So for that we need to have the image URL. So let me just copy it from here for the time being, but later obviously it's going to come via props. So that's the very first thing. If I save it, we should have the image right over here, and we don't, because we have to place the cart item right over here. Let's actually add the items within another stack, so that if we need to add some custom spacing, we can do that later. So let's save the cart item only if it's fuck. Why is it not working? Anyway, let's do it manually then. And I guess I will have to break down this video, because the thing is, when my system starts lagging, it's certainly because of the overload that it's kind of taking. So that's the reason why it's a bit laggish at the moment. Anyway, so now if we save it, let's just see if we have the book cover, and there it is. So that is not good. We have to fix this thing, and for that, what might be the issue? We have the book cover, but it's not looking good. Let's see. Let's actually check the theme. We did add the background size to be of color. So there it is. It's working good over here, but not here. It could be the reason. Let's see. The background cover thing is not working for some reason. Background size. Maybe if we add it after the image, maybe then it might work. Let me just refresh. Okay, so that was the case. We have to add it after the image thing. Alright, so never mind, that's working, so it's great. And I'm gonna break down, like I'm gonna cut it off at the moment, like this video, and let's continue with the same thing in the next one. Thank you.